Today we are going to start our next project, which is 3D robots. First of all, what movies or TV shows have you seen robots in? Can you remember what they look like and what their names are? So I'm going to quiz you to see if you know the names of these robots on the screen. I'm going to give you a few seconds to look at them, and then I'll reveal the answers. Okay, time's up. 1 is Rosie from the Jetsons. 2 is the Gentle Giant. 3 is R2-D2, BB-8, and C-3PO. 4 is Voltron. It's a cartoon from the 80s. 5 is the Ancient Automons from a movie called Castle in the Sky. It's a Studio Ghibli film. 6 is Cybermen from Doctor Who. The Cybermen are the persistent enemies of the Doctor. I love Doctor Who. 7 is WALL-E. 8 is Eve from WALL-E as well. And lastly 9 is Bumblebee from the Transformers. How many did you get correct? So instead of drawing flat robots with shapes, like this guy over here, we're going to learn how to draw a 3D robot using forms, like this guy over here. So part 1, today we're going to learn how to draw 3D forms. We will also learn how to accurately place values onto a shape to make it into a three-dimensional form. So let's talk about shape versus form. So form is one of the 7 elements of art and refers to a three-dimensional object in space. As an element of art, form is something that is three-dimensional and encloses volume, having length, width, and height. So form versus shape. Shape is two-dimensional or flat, like this square. A cube is a form because it's three-dimensional. This circle is a shape, but when you add shading, it turns it into a sphere, a three-dimensional form. Let's talk about the different types of shapes. We have organic shapes versus geometric shapes. The organic shapes are kind of free-form shapes. Geometric shapes have straight edges. Values. Value in art is essentially how light or dark something is on a scale of white to black, with white being the lowest value and black being the highest value. Value deals with the lightness or darkness of a color as well. Artists use values to translate the light and shadows they see into shading, thus creating the illusion of a third dimension. With shading, the magical illusion of three-dimensional reality appears on your drawing paper. So we see these 4 forms, a sphere, and you can see how the different values have been placed. Like here we have a lighter value and a darker value, and that creates the illusion of 3D or three-dimensional reality in your drawing. Let's talk about depth. Depth in art refers to making objects appear closer or farther away and making a two-dimensional image seem three-dimensional. So you can see, using the use of perspective, making things go back and making things appear smaller as they go back in space gives the illusion of depth. Same thing here in this painting and this landscape, things getting smaller as they go back in space. This gives the illusion of depth in artwork. Next is light source. Light source is the direction from which a dominant light originates. The placement of this light source affects every aspect of a drawing. It affects shadows and values. So here we see a light bulb, and look at how it's hitting each sphere. So we have the light side facing the light, the dark side on the opposite side. And look at how it's creating a cast shadow with each object. And look at this diagram. Look at this light source. So if you can imagine a beam of light or a line connecting the light source to your object and where it's hitting, that can kind of clue you in on where the lighter values are going to be and where the darker values are going to be on your shape. Here we have the highlight, where the light is directly beaming off the object. It's like a gleam of light. We have our light values, medium values, darker values, shadows, reflected light. That's where the light bounces off the table and it goes boing, boing, and kind of hits the bottom, and there's like a little bit of a glow. And then we have the cast shadow, the shadow that's being created from the object the light is being cast off of. All right, so today we are going to be drawing 3D forms. We're going to be drawing a sphere, a cube, a pyramid, a cone, a cylinder. So 5 forms altogether, including a value scale or a light to dark fade. So if this is your paper, this is about how big I want you to draw your 4 forms, and do this little fade somewhere on your paper. Does not have to be very big, maybe 2 to 3 inches. Just take your pencil, heavy pressure to light pressure. I do have a video for you to watch next that will demonstrate how to draw and shade in all of these 3D forms.